first video that we're going to do on the Goliath truck from Knight Rider. We're pretty much building this truck from scratch. I'm using the wheels, the rear axles, and the fifth wheel, and the fuel tanks off of a junk truck that I had. This will be in a 1/32 scale. Everything else we're building out of PVC pipe. I just take the PVC pipe, buy it, just take and cut it to the length that I need it, split it, and then heat it and flatten it out. I'll be showing how to do that in another video later on. But we've got the cab kind of roughed out. We've got the frame. You see the frame rails. I got to add some more supports into the frame. We're using the rear axles and suspension from the other truck. I'm actually going to have to build a front axle for it and some springs to get it leveled out, and the truck will actually sit more like this when it's finished. But I've already got my grill fabricated, that crazy grill that they had on the front of that truck. I still got to fabricate my bumper, stacks, the whole back of the frame, stuff for my mud flaps, the fender pieces. There's actually a tank that sits behind each one of the front wheels. I had to fabricate that too. But we're just trying to put out a video just to see what people thinks about what we're doing. I got some Kenworth Aerodyne cabs, this the Yatming, that I want to work on. I'm actually going to do one of those as a BJ in the Bear truck. It'll be in 1/64 scale. We're doing a lot of different things with a lot of different scale trucks. Most of what we're doing is die cast, but I got into doing this like this, and I've really been wanting to build the Goliath truck, and I can't really find a Peterbilt that's not a model. And models, if you mess with them, they'll fall apart. By the time all this right here is put together, it's not going to fall apart like a model would, and it's not going to be as delicate, so it'll be easier to handle. And that's one of the main reasons we're doing it this way. But we got to get the top in, get it shaped, get it glued in, get it shaped. But the truck's starting to take shape now. We are going to build a trailer for it. We do have the rear axles for the trailer, but everything else I'm gonna have to build, and we're gonna try to show some of that in some of the other videos. All right, what we're gonna do now is, you see the outline for the doors. So we're gonna want to emboss them to make them look like they're there, even though they're not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a wood burner with a real fine tip, and I'm just gonna go over and get this part done and do my best to keep my lines straight. So we're gonna get this out of the way. And you want to go slow and be careful. And you just want to be easy and don't go deep. And it gives you that nice little line to make it look like you can actually see the outline of the door. This is one of the most nerve-wracking parts. All right, we've got that done. Now basically all we're going to do is I'm going to take this sanding block okay. Now it's left some little stuff in there, so I'm going to take this rat tail file and just try to knock that stuff out of it. Okay. Now, for the actual door latches that we're going to do, I'm just going to cut a little piece out of some plasticard I got, and it's this real thin. I can just cut it out, cut the shape out of it that I want, and just glue it up there, and everything will be good. I'm gonna go ahead and get my other door done. Then I'm gonna have to look at some reference pictures to find out there's another door, one or two doors that goes here, and then you got that funny handrail, funny looking handrail that actually goes on this truck, and we're gonna have to make that, but that'll be done in a later video because I'm gonna have to pick up some more of the plasticard type stuff. This almost like a tube. You can pick that up at Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby actually has a lot of the plasticard. You can get a pack that's got from thin to a little bit thicker stuff in it to use. It's not quite as thick as the PVC. This PVC is actually a thin wall. It's kind of hard to find, but I have got one guy that has actually got it, and you can look at the frame and the cab and tell the difference of the thickness. This is like normal PVC, and this is like a thin wall PVC. You can use the thick wall PVC for this. It's just a little bit harder to shape, takes a little bit longer, a little bit more aggravating, and that's one of the reasons I like the thin wall when I can use it. And we're gonna get that done, and I'm going to get the top of the cab glued on and then show you how I shape it. Alright, while the glue is drying on the top of the cab before we shape it, we've got to make a front axle where it'll actually roll. Like I was telling you about the tube that you can get at Hobby Lobby, this is a piece of it. It's actually a hollow tube, real small. All this stuff glues real good, and I'm not really advertising for people, but you can get this glue off Amazon, and this is one of the best glues that I have found. I love this glue. I usually buy a couple of bottles at the time. It does come with the tips if you like to use those. I don't usually use them, but it's a real good glue. It works fast and it's really strong. So usually when you hold something together for about 5 seconds, you're done. So we're gonna get this and figure out exactly where we need to cut. And basically all you need is just a pair of like model clippers. Clip it off. Usually had to mash the ends of them just a little bit to get it back nice and round. That'll slide over. Pop your wheel back on. And now when I make my supports, that'll make it where everything rolls good, and I won't have to worry about any problems with that. And it'll keep my front axle from moving back and forth. I just usually use just a regular Dremel to do all my shape work. Okay. I just glued this right here on just a couple minutes ago. It's literally been like maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And it's pretty much right where it needs to be. So, and this may be a little loud, but we're gonna shape the cab. See, basically all I did was I left just a little bit of overhang when I started, and I got it where I can just kind of roll it over to get a cab, just the top of the cab, just a little bit of shape to it. And just a little bit of shine and sand, and it's going to be about ready to paint. Just need to finish this, so we're going to get this done. Alright, pretty much got our cab fixed out like we want. So that's one more step closer to being finished. And it's actually really starting to come together now and look more like the truck it's supposed to look like. Now we are going to have to build supports for the front end and get everything level. So that's something that's going to have to be figured out. Exactly what my distance is going to be, because it's going to raise it up maybe about 1/16 of an inch or so. So we're gonna, I keep a whole lot of scrap. Okay, now we're gonna get the pieces fixed to build the front suspension with. So basically what we're going to use is just some small squares. That's gonna work. Okay, now I'm gonna take my my rat tail file. make a notch for my axle to sit in, and see how that comes up. Now all we got to do is make one more of these. Now we can instead of just leaving it squared off, we're going to add a little bit to make it look a little bit more presentable. Round these off. Give it a little bit better look. Okay, need to make sure exactly where the axle needs to sit. And remember, always check it more than one time, because it's a whole lot easier to move it now than it is to tear it back apart and do it again. Okay, now I've got this marked, so I know exactly where my axle needs to be. So we're going to take and we're going to make sure again, just to be on the safe side, that where our length should be. It should be almost make sure your axle slot is lined up. Give it a press. Don't think I got enough glue on that thing. And that's what I mean. Once it's set, it's pretty good. Okay. Now, with this one, some of these pieces of PVC is not 100% flat. That's the reason you had to make sure you got plenty of glue on it to get it to have enough to meet. Okay, now we got that in. Now basically all we need to do is flip it. Let's see. something for spacer. And there's your front end and your rolling chassis. And basically the way your cab's gonna look and sit. For the next video, we're gonna finish off the frame and build an interior for the truck, and get all that stuff, and then get it ready to prime and paint. And just want to say thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit the notifications, because we're going to try to be dropping right many more videos. And if you happen to be into wrestling belts, you can check out our other channel, which is DIY Wrestling Belts 101 on YouTube. Thanks, and God bless.